In this meeting, I will guide you through the awakening of consciousness necessary to identify how the mind projects happiness onto a horizon that never arrives, giving you the clarity to stop postponing your soul today. The emotional cost of waiting for the ideal moment is a subtle way of dying while still alive. While we wait for problems to resolve themselves so we can finally breathe, time, that relentless master, consumes our only opportunity to be real. I do not speak as one who holds absolute truths, but as someone who, after long years of observing my own actions, my decisions, and the events that shaped my story, has also leaned into the observation of the human soul. You might think your lack of peace is the fault of bills, health, or absences, but the truth is that self-knowledge reveals to us that fulfillment is not the absence of storms, but the stability of the boat. The invitation I extend to you today is not for an external change, but for an inner rite of passage that will take little more than 15 minutes. I ask that, in this moment, you don't just hear, but listen to what vibrates behind my words. Let us, together, perform an exercise of stopping the run, so that your essence can finally catch up to you. The first step of this journey requires no effort. It only requires the courage to be entirely here, now, before the next minute becomes just another memory of what you failed to live. Often, we believe that life is a puzzle that will only make sense when the last piece is fitted. We call this piece happiness, success, or stability. But when we observe the human soul under the light of ancestral wisdom and philosophy, we realize that this search for a perfect scenario is the greatest trap of consciousness. In African tradition, we learn that time is not a straight line that pulls us away from paradise, but a cycle where the sacred manifests in the present. If we deny the now in the name of an idealized tomorrow, we are, in fact, denying our own humanity. In this introduction to our theme, I invite you to question, why do we allow fear and guilt to dictate the rhythm of our joy? Why do we save our best smiles for a day that never dawns? In the following lines, we will dive into the mirage of everything is fine to discover that the peace you seek is not at the end of the road, but in the way you touch the ground as you walk. We live under the hypnosis that life will truly begin when everything is fine. But what is this fine, if not a mental construct that shifts with every step we take? Contemplative spirituality teaches us that the mind is an excellent architect of futures, but a poor inhabitant of the present. In the Bantu tradition, we understand that the human being is not a static object, but a flow. Mogobe Ramos reminds us that becoming is our essence. If we condition our peace on the end of problems, we are fighting against the very nature of existence, which is impermanence. As soon as one pending matter is resolved, life, in its chaotic fertility, soon presents us with a new challenge that requests our attention. And what if the search for everything is fine is, in fact, an escape from depth? Spiritual awakening begins when we stop chasing the horizon and start honoring the ground where our feet are right now. Many of us carry an invisible anchor, the belief that joy is a prize that must only be claimed after exhaustive effort. There is an unconscious fear of shining while the world, or those we love, seem to suffer. This emotional guilt keeps us in a state of servitude to suffering, as if our sadness could heal someone else's pain. Carl Jung would warn us about the shadow of this false modesty. By stifling our light out of guilt, we help no one. We only increase the darkness of the world. True inner re-education involves understanding that happiness is an inherent right of the being, not a reward for behavior. As an African proverb says, "He who does not know how to dance says the floor is stony." Often, we use external difficulties as an excuse not to take responsibility for being happy now, despite everything. Presence is not a mystical state reserved for those living in caves. It is the ability to touch life while it is difficult. Real self-knowledge does not rid us of problems, but changes our relationship with them. Albert Camus, reflecting on the myth of Sisyphus, teaches us that happiness and the absurd are children of the same earth. One must imagine Sisyphus happy, even while pushing his rock, because he is the master of his steps. In Ubuntu Philosophy, I understand that my humanity is connected to yours. Honoring those we love does not mean suffering with them, but being present in an integrated way. True connection happens in the imperfect now, in a hug during grief, in a supportive look in the midst of scarcity. Do not wait for total silence to meditate. Find the inner silence at the center of the noise. Life is not a straight ladder to heaven. It is a river that meanders to teach us the art of gentleness and surrender. For the soul, there is no separation between the sacred and the profane, between light and shadow. Life is a sacred mixture of light and heavy days. Trying to exclude pain is what prevents us from touching peace, as resistance creates a knot in the flow of consciousness. Lao Tzu taught us the way of non-forcing. When we accept that sadness has its place, just like joy, we stop fighting against reality and start flowing with it. Emotional healing is not the absence of the scar, but the acceptance of what hurt as part of our wisdom. Imagine the seed. It needs the darkness and the pressure of the earth to break its shell and bloom. Without the mixture of the dark soil, the flower would never know the light. Your inner transformation depends on embracing the totality of who you are today. Often, the spiritualized ego seeks great revelations and dramatic enlightenments, ignoring the small fragments of eternity that surround us. True spirituality is lived in the everyday, in coffee sipped calmly, in listening to the soul while observing the wind, in the simple gesture of spontaneous gratitude. These are the rituals of returning to essence. They remind us that life is not a destination, but a natural rhythm. As ancestral and shamanic traditions teach us, nature is our living temple, and every small cycle is a lesson in presence. Value what is simple. A long hug is more healing than 1,000 theories if there is real presence in it. Descend from the mind to the heart and realize, you already have enough to be whole at this exact moment. To seal this meeting, I invite you to a practice of reconnection. Wherever you are, feel the weight of your body upon the place where you find yourself. Inhale deeply and, as you release the air, imagine you are also releasing the need for everything to be perfect for you to allow yourself to be at peace. What if the happiness you chase so much in the future is just a mirage to keep you from seeing the treasure that already shines in your now? If these words touched something inside you, perhaps it is the moment to take one more step on this path of reuniting with your inner truth. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to continue receiving content that nourishes the soul with presence and authenticity. Share in the comments what resonated with your heart. Your story might be the mirror someone else needed to find. If you seek a safe haven, know that our community is the sanctuary where fertile silence is shared and deepened. Enjoy the channel's posts. To continue expanding this field of presence, we suggest the video pinned in the card. Peace and light.